And I saw another story out of Texas yesterday where the man, and I saw another story out of Georgia where Soros DAs, in one case, the man had 90 plus convictions, armed robbery, sexual assault, you name it. He was let out again, and then one guy kidnapped a woman and raped her. Another guy got out and then shot a bunch of police. I mean, you just, and it's just blip on the radar. Oh, 4 dead cops, bloop, no big deal. Just bloop. Don't even say the cops' names. Just, yeah, 4 dead cops, 6 or 7 more wounded, bloop, kidnapped woman, rape woman. It's just a little bloop. You imagine if a cop gets some fentanyl overdosing, poor black person, and then they die while the cops put them in handcuffs, and then, oh my God, the cop, murder, we got to burn the country down. And they make it the biggest thing ever. But meanwhile, did you know something like 14 police were killed in the last week nationwide? 4 in one pop from a felon who'd been released over and over again from prison? Yeah, there it is. 4 law officers serving warrant are killed, 4 wounded in a shootout in North Carolina and Georgia and Texas. And it's just barely in the news. Just bleep.
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now, InfoWars tells you the truth about what's happening next. Visit Infowars.com/show and share the link today.
Hey, get away from the car!
And then when they yell car, the car's done nothing to him. Then that's their reason to attack him, drag him out of the car. He escapes. They later catch him and beat him half to death. He's in the hospital. It's just some student took a wrong turn. Meanwhile, you got the frat boys out with their American Israeli flags, making fun of black people and hopping around like monkeys. This is all of the idiocy as the temperature gets turned up to the boiling point. This is the angrier world George Soros said would bring in their New World Order, and that Klaus Schwab said would bring in their New World Order. But let's just go to the defunding of the police, even before Trump was driven from office via election fraud 3.5 years ago. You then saw the Soros-controlled mayors and DAs and attorney generals all across the United States in almost every major city that they control. They control almost every major city, even most sub-cities, to defund the police on average by about 40%, and then to intimidate the police, not to be able to do their job, and to throw the book at them and prosecute them if they make any type of mistake, or even when they don't make a mistake, to make them be paralyzed to not go out and stop crime. And you have laws passed in 10 states and several hundred cities like San Francisco, Portland, Chicago, New York, where even if you steal, depending on the city or state, $1,000, $2,000, up to $5,000 in some cities, out of a store, a grocery store, a clothing store, a Walgreens, you name it, that you will not be prosecuted. That's just one example of the destabilization. The defunding of the police in places like Minneapolis, Minnesota, where then the mayor and others hired private security 24 hours a day, millions of dollars a year just for themselves, while cutting the police by 50%. So when you do that, and I saw another story out of Texas yesterday, where the man, and I saw another story out of Georgia, where Soros DAs, in one case, the man had 90 plus convictions, armed robbery, sexual assault, you name it. He was let out again, and then one guy kidnapped a woman and raped her. Another guy got out and then shot a bunch of police. I mean, you just, and it's just blip on the radar. Oh, 4 dead cops, bloop, no big deal. Just bloop. Don't even say the cops' names. Just, yeah, 4 dead cops, 6 or 7 more wounded, bloop, kidnapped woman, rape woman. It's just a little bloop. You imagine if a cop gets some fentanyl overdosing, poor black person, and then they die while the cops put them in handcuffs, and then, oh my God, the cop, murder, we got to burn the country down. And they make it the biggest thing ever. But meanwhile, did you know something like 14 police were killed in the last week nationwide? 4 in one pop from a felon who'd been released over and over again from prison? Yeah, there it is. 4 law officers serving warrant are killed, 4 wounded in shootout in North Carolina and Georgia and Texas. And it's just barely in the news, just bleep. Now, again, you can hate the police all day. But the point is when the left fully takes over the country, they're going to run the police, and then you really won't like them. No, the police are one of the last institutions they haven't taken over yet in every area. But they're doing it. And they did to purge the military with the poison shots and critical race theory and transgenderism. That's exactly what they wanted, to put their people in key positions. So they've got control of most of the military. They're getting control of the police. They've defunded the police. They've defunded it for the citizens. Jurisdictions all over the country, from Illinois to Texas, just say, hey, from midnight to 6 a.m., no police will respond when you're getting broken into. And then if you do one thing wrong or don't say the right thing, and when you shoot a burglar breaking in your house, Soros DAs are going to throw your ass under the jail. There's another one, yeah, 3 officers shot in Louisiana in fatal standoff with gunmen. I mean, I can't even keep track of it. I didn't even know about that one a couple days ago. So where are their names? Where are their families? Where are their crying wives and widows at press conferences? There is no interest in that because we don't want to humanize the police. But they're just waiting for a Kent State event to happen. They're just waiting for another George Floyd to happen. And Soros has spent billions, and he gets money from the State Department. He's just the front man, so the State Department doesn't have their hands directly in it. The State Department is funding billions and billions to bring illegals in and brainwash them against America, sign them up to vote, while at the same time funding billions of dollars to fund the Tides Foundation and the Sunrise Foundation, all these other groups, and to bail these people out when they're violent. And then when the frat boys and the right-wingers go out who are sick of them, every little thing they do that's wrong gets magnified to make it a left-right battle. Because the globalists want Americans fighting with each other. They want to turn the heat up ahead of the summer of rage that's coming. That'll make 2020 look tame in comparison. I'm guaranteeing, not predicting, guaranteeing. Then they'll get enough incidences and enough Southern Poverty Law Center, ADL, crisis actors, which we know they send in, like Charlottesville, to stir things up enough. And then there will be false flags. And false flags can be a crazy person you wind up, or it can be purely staged, or it can be done by a corporate group or a mercenary group. But it's going to be something that's going to be blamed on conservatives and nationalists. We saw that in the June National Security Directive by President Biden, where he said the #1 terror threat is, what, white supremacist, and that they're causing the most crime in America, which is completely fake statistic and just asinine. Then you heard there's an epidemic of whites killing Asians. Doesn't even really exist. Just totally pulled out of the FBI's rear end. Then the FBI started 2 years ago in over 100 major cities, 102 major cities, the 102 biggest cities, stopped reporting crime statistics, period. So they could say crime hasn't gone up. Yeah, there's Biden calls white supremacy most dangerous terror threat in speech at Howard. So they're priming the pump and setting the battle space for the false flags that are going to be committed against black grocery stores, black colleges, black churches. About a month before the election, I'd say about 155 days from now is when I'm guessing, and us putting this out may make them change the battle plan. About 155 days from now. So it's 185 days to the election. So about a month out from the election, about 155 days from now, we'll go into the zone, and black church is going to get hit. Black grocery stores are going to get hit. Black colleges are going to get hit. Then synagogues are going to get blown up, truck bombed. Federal buildings will then get hit, truck bombed. And then civil emergency is going to be declared. Trump is going to be blamed, and they have no intention of even letting us go to the ballots. Now, that's one plan scenario I see. They've got a bunch of others. They got a handful of cards. But the ace of spades is the false flag. The enemies of humanity have been very good at dividing and conquering us. But if we simply start thinking about things according to the definition of, is it pro-human or is it anti-human, we start to win. And that's why I had the idea for Team Humanity. I brought it up to Elon Musk. He loved the idea. What would you call the debate and discussion about a pro-human future? Just Team Humanity?
Yeah, Team Humanity. Absolutely.
And so we have the t-shirt, Team Humanity with a nuclear family, standing against the globalist. This shirt is a great conversation starter, but it also is a fundraiser to keep InfoWars on the air so we can promote and support Team Humanity. I want to thank you all for your past support, but I want to encourage you all now to understand that this is a revolution against the globalists, and it is so critical now to signal the fact that you are part of Team Humanity. We're told humans are the problem. We're told we're killing the earth. We're told all this garbage, so we hate ourselves and stand down and roll over and die. We're not going to do that. Get your Team Humanity shirts now at InfoWarsStore.com, and I thank you all for your support.